I pulled 3 files from evidence storage on a Thursday night. 3 calls, 3 shifts, 3 recordings that should have been routine. Where are you watching from, and are you watching alone? Subscribe and stay. The disturbance call came in at 11:40 on a March evening. Gas station on Route 41. Man acting erratic in the parking lot. My partner Luis and I responded. One sedan sat crooked across 2 spaces when we arrived. Driver door open, interior light on, nobody inside. Luis circled around back while I approached. Our body cameras clicked on automatically. A man stepped out from behind the air pump. 30 maybe. Torn jacket, hands empty. But his eyes locked on something over my left shoulder. Something that wasn't there. I told him to step forward slowly. He did. No resistance. Luis called out that the vehicle was registered to Denise Pryor. I asked if this was his car. He said no. I asked where Denise was. He said she was sleeping in the trunk. I kept my hand near my weapon, told him to sit on the curb. He walked over and sat down. Luis popped the trunk with the key fob from the ignition. Empty, just a spare tire and a grocery bag. I looked back at the man. He stared at me with this patient expression, like he was waiting for me to understand something. Luis ran his ID clean record. No warrants. I asked again where Denise was. He said she was sleeping. I asked where. He pointed at our patrol car. The back seat was empty. We hadn't transported anyone. Luis suggested psych hold. I agreed. We cuffed him gently. He walked to the cruiser on his own and climbed in. I closed the door and walked around to the driver's side. A woman's voice came through the partition. Quiet. Tired. Why did you wake me up? I froze. Luis heard it too. We both looked through the grate. The man sat alone in the center of the back seat, head tilted, watching us. The voice came again, right against the metal mesh. Are you going to let me out now? Luis yanked the back door open. The man sat exactly where we left him, alone. I checked our trunk. Empty. Dropped down and looked under the vehicle. Nothing. The man asked if Denise could ride up front. She gets car sick in the back. We called for a supervisor. While we waited, the man hummed, low and steady. A lullaby, maybe. The gas station clerk came out to check if we needed anything. I asked if he saw a woman near our car. He said no. Just us and the man. Next, the supervisor arrived 20 minutes later. By then, the man had stopped humming, just stared straight ahead. The supervisor reviewed our body cam footage on his tablet right there in the lot. Watched the trunk pop. Listened to the audio. Then he asked if I was feeling okay. I said I was fine. He played the audio again. Clean. No second voice. Just wind and radio static. Luis showed me his footage. Same thing. No woman's voice anywhere. We transported him to County General. He stayed quiet the whole drive. When we opened the door at the hospital, he said Denise decided to stay in the car. He hoped we'd give her a ride home later. I checked the back seat again. Empty. The man smiled. Sad, like he pitied me. We contacted the registered owner, Denise Pryor, about the vehicle. She answered. Alive. Confused. How could she'd lent the car to her brother Cameron 3 days ago. Hadn't heard from him since. I asked if Cameron had any mental health history. She said no. Not until their mother died. I asked when. 4 months ago. In the back seat of that same car. Heart attack on the way to the hospital. Denise was driving. She said her mother's last words were asking why they woke her up. Case closed. Mental health crisis. No crime. But I've watched that footage 70 times now. And every time we pop the trunk, there's something in the reflection on the chrome bumper, a shape pressed against our cruiser's back window. Just one frame, then gone. I've never mentioned it to Luis. He requested a new partner 2 weeks later. When I see him now, he looks at me the same way Cameron did. Patient, waiting. Sometimes I hear humming in the back seat when I drive alone. I don't turn around anymore. I already know what I won't see. Silent alarm at a check cashing store on Brenner Street. Late April. Possible robbery. I was 3 blocks away. No backup available yet. The front door was unlocked when I arrived. I announced myself and entered with my weapon drawn. Narrow store, bulletproof partition, one flickering light. Register open and empty behind the partition. No clerk, no customers. Just that humming fluorescent. I moved toward the partition. A wheeled chair lay on its side near the back office door. I called out again. Nothing. The office door was cracked open. I pushed it wider with my boot. A man sat in a folding chair facing the corner. Back to me. Hands zip-tied behind him. Store uniform. I asked if he was injured. No response. I asked again. He shook his head barely. I said I'd cut the zip tie. He shook his head violently. I asked who did this. He said they were still here. I swept the small office desk, safe, closed closet door. Nobody visible. I asked where. He tilted his head toward the closet. I radioed for backup, ordered whoever was in the closet to come out. Nothing. The clerk started crying. Quiet. Shoulders shaking. I asked how many suspects. He said 1. I asked if they were armed. He said yes. With my gun. My holster was secured. Weapon in my hand. I checked anyway. Nothing missing. I told him I had my weapon. He said no. He said the person in the closet took my gun when I walked in, took it right out of my hand. He said I should check again. I looked down. Still holstered, still secured. I told him I was holding it. He said I was holding a different one now. The one I came in with was in the closet. I looked at the Glock in my hand. Same model I'd carried 6 years. Same wear on the grip. Same serial number etched near the trigger, except I couldn't remember the exact number. Started with P or R. I'd qualified with this weapon 40 times. I should know it cold. The clerk said I should open the closet. Said I'd understand. I told him backup was 4 minutes out. I could wait. He said they'd be gone by then. Said they always leave before anyone else arrives. Said I was the only one who could see them. My hand reached for the closet door. My Bodycam recorded it. I still don't know why I did it. The closet was shallow. Wire shelves, cleaning supplies, mop. And on the top shelf, resting on a box of receipt paper, a service weapon. Same model as mine. I didn't touch it. I backed out slowly, looked at the gun in my hand, then at the gun on the shelf. I asked which one was mine. He said he didn't know, said the robber made him face the corner, made him listen. They found his phone and crushed it, found the safe key, took $4,000. Then they heard my cruiser outside. He said they moved fast, impossibly fast, opened the closet, put something on the shelf, then stood behind the door. When I walked in, they reached out and touched my hand, just one finger. Then they were gone. Out the back before I even turned, but he said I dropped my gun when they touched me. It fell and slid under the desk. They picked it up, put it in the closet. Then they put a different gun in my hand, one that looked the same, felt the same, but wasn't. He said I should check the ammunition. I ejected the magazine. 15 rounds, factory loads, checked the chamber, One ready, all normal. I told him he was mistaken. Shock, probably. He said I should fire a round into the wall, said then I'd see. Backup arrived, secured the scene, cut his restraints. EMS checked him. No injuries. I filed the report. Armed robbery, $4,000 cash, no suspect description. He said he never saw their face, just their hand. The weapon from the closet was logged as evidence, same model as mine. But the serial came back registered to Officer Marcus Felton, killed in the line of duty 6 years ago. His weapon was supposed to be destroyed. Nobody could explain how it got there. I returned to duty the next day. My weapon functioned normally, but sometimes when I draw it, there's a half second where it feels wrong. Like the grip shifted slightly, like the weight redistributed. The clerk quit 3 days later, moved out of state. Number disconnected. The store owner checked security footage. Interior cameras disabled, just static. But exterior cameras caught me arriving, walking in, then nothing for 11 minutes, then walking out with backup. Nobody else entered or left. I think about firing a test round sometimes, but I haven't. I don't want to know what would happen. Domestic disturbance, duplex on Collier Avenue, mid-June. Neighbor reported screaming. I responded with Officer Vance. 2 years on the force, always eager. A man answered when we knocked, late 40s, calm. Button down, tucked in. Said there was no problem, just a disagreement with his wife. Everything fine. I asked to speak with her. He hesitated, then let us in. Living room was spotless. But you too clean. Like someone scrubbed it frantically minutes before we arrived. The wife appeared from the hallway. Mid-40s, thin. Smiled and said it was a misunderstanding. Her hands were clasped tight in front of her, knuckles white. I asked to speak with her privately. The husband said not necessary. I asked again. He said no. Vance picked up a picture frame lying face down on the mantel. Glass cracked. Family photo underneath. Couple and 2 teenage kids. I asked where the children were. The wife said staying with friends. I asked which friends. She looked at her husband first. He said none of our business. I explained we needed to confirm everyone's safety. Standard procedure. The husband stepped between me and his wife. Said we were harassing them. Said he'd file a complaint. Vance told him to step back. The husband refused, jaw tight, hands curling into fists. I tried to calm things down. Asked him to step outside with me, walk, talk. He said no, said he wanted us out. I said we'd leave once I confirmed his wife was okay. He said she already told us she was. I said I needed to verify that myself. There was a bruise on her collarbone, fresh, maybe an hour old. I asked her to step into the kitchen with me. The husband grabbed my forearm. Vance shoved him back into the wall, told him never to touch an officer. The husband swung wild. Vance blocked it and took him down. Textbook. But the husband kept fighting. Twisting, the wife screamed for us to stop. Tried to pull Vance off. I moved her back. She clawed at my vest, begging. The husband got a knee up into Vance's ribs. Vance grunted and drove his forearm down across the husband's throat. Hard. Meet the husband gagged, face going dark red. I told Vance to ease up. He didn't hear me. The wife sobbed, saying it over and over. Please let him breathe. Let him breathe. I grabbed Vance's shoulder, pulled him back. The husband sucked air, coughing. Vance wrenched his arms back and cuffed him. Rough. Something in the shoulder popped. Loud crack on the audio. The husband screamed. Vance said stop resisting. But he wasn't resisting anymore. He was just crying. We sat him on the curb outside. The wife followed, hovering. She wasn't angry. She was terrified. Not of him, of us, of what we'd done. Vance radioed it in. Assault on officer, resisting arrest. I checked the shoulder. Dislocated. He'd need transport. EMS came. Supervisor came. The wife gave her statement, said her husband never hit her, never touched her. When the bruise was from a cabinet door. Accident. She said we had no right to hurt him. Bodycam reviewed. Supervisor said Vance's force was within policy, reactionary, defensive. Said I handled it right, minimum necessary force. Said the husband's injuries resulted from his choice to resist. But I've watched that footage. Counted the seconds. 14 seconds. 14 seconds of sustained pressure on his throat while his wife begged. In those 14 seconds, his face went from red to purple. His eyes bulged. His legs stopped kicking. He went still. Vance was cleared. No discipline. The husband took a plea. 18 months probation, anger management, permanent record. The wife filed for divorce 3 months later. Not because of him. Because of us. Because she couldn't look at him without seeing his face turning purple on that curb. I submitted a report recommending review of Vance's conduct. It was filed. No follow-up. Vance is still on patrol. I see him in the locker room. He acts like nothing happened. But I think about the wife's hands. How they were shaking before we ever touched him. How they were trying to tell me something I didn't understand until too late. She wasn't afraid of him. She was afraid of us. I still have access to all 3 files. Sometimes I watch them, late at night, trying to find the moment when things turned. But it's never one moment. It's always 100 small choices. I think about Cameron, humming in the back seat to someone who wasn't there. I think about the hand reaching around the closet door, touching me, changing something while I didn't notice. I think about the husband's face turning purple. They're all the same story. About things that happen when you're not paying attention, when you trust the wrong instinct, when you believe procedure will protect you. The worst part is knowing there's more footage, more calls, more moments when someone with a badge decides force is justified. I've thought about quitting. But leaving doesn't erase the footage. It just means someone else answers the next call, someone who maybe won't even hesitate. So I keep the files. I keep watching. I keep my camera running every shift. And I wait for the day when I finally see what Cameron saw, what the clerk saw, what the wife saw, the thing just outside the frame, just beyond the light, the thing that's watching while we record, because something is always watching, even when the camera stops, even when the shift ends, even when you try to sleep, it's there, patient, waiting. And when you finally see it, it'll be too late, because it already touched you, already changed you, already made you into something you don't recognize. You'll just sit in your car reviewing the same files, searching for when you stopped being who you thought you were. And the next call will come through, the next file will start recording, the next moment will happen, and you'll answer, because that's what you do. And the footage will show you were there, that you saw it, that you did nothing different. The camera doesn't lie, but it doesn't tell the whole truth either. It just records and waits and remembers. And someday, someone will watch these files. They'll see you. They'll know. And there'll be nothing left but proof of what you were, what you did, what you let happen.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more stories.